Welcome top news today.
It's been several months since Sebastian Gorka, a former deputy assistant to President Trump, either quit the administration in indignation or was forced out by those who thought his takenoprisoners brand of nationalist politics was a bad influence on Trump, depending whom you ask. Regardless, Gorka has kept up his public profile since abruptly leaving his unofficial spokesman role in the White House last August. A couple of months later, he appeared in a roundtable discussion on U.S. gun violence and blamed the problem mainly on black Africans shooting each other. Then last month, he turned up in a police report in his native Hungary, wanted on unspecified firearm charges from before Trump's election. But most days, as the Washington Post has written, Gorka appears without much drama on a talking head shows where he reliably praises the president whose White House he either quit or was fired from. Sunday was such a day, or at least it started out that way. Gorka was on CSPAN in the morning, discussing a memo released last week by Republicans on the House Intelligence Committee over the furious objections of national security officials, alleging that political bias has tainted a federal investigation into Trump's links to Russia. Gorka, per usual, was defending the president. Almost every member of the team is either connected with the left, donated to the left, he told the show's host, Steve Scully. The whole investigation headed by Robert S. Mueller III should be dropped, he said. Then Gorka paused, and Scully informed him that a certain Henry from Michigan was on the line. "Good morning," Scully said. "Good morning. First of all, I'd like to try and establish some ground rules," Henry said in a single breath. Scully's eyes grew quite wide and his lips pressed together as he listened. "I'd like to be allowed to make my comments without interruption by Sebastian," Henry continued, "because these clever right-wingers, they have a way of interrupting you." Gorka laughed. "I think Steve's in charge," he said. "Go ahead, Henry," Scully said. "First of all," Henry said, "I'd like to say the elections in 2018 are perhaps the most consequential in our history, because we have to stop an impending dictatorship by this white supremacist right-wing traitor, and Donald Trump, make no mistake, is a traitor. Along with everybody in his orbit." Presumably he meant Gorka, who was now looking at his desk. "Henry, why do you say he's a traitor?" Scully said. "Okay, I'm glad you asked me that question," Henry said. "Donald Trump is owned by the Russian oligarchs, because they are the ones that funded him when U.S. banks wouldn't. They have compromising information on him." By compromising information, Henry meant an explosive dossier in which a former British intelligence agent claimed the Russian government had corrupted Trump. The dossier was leaked to the public in January. The GOP memo Gorka had been discussing before Henry called in claimed the document was politically biased, and had tainted the investigation into Trump, who has repeatedly denied there was any collusion between his campaign and Russia. On CSPAN, Henry said most of the information in the dossier had been proved and none of it had been disproved. So bad news for Trump and his orbit. Gorka sighed. 2018 will be a very consequential election, he told Henry, as if trying to find some common ground, only to reverse course in the next sentence. "I'm saddened by people who live in an alternate universe, who use words such as dictator, white supremacist and traitor." Henry remained silent, allowing Gorka, who, say what you will about him, is an experienced debater by now, to get back to his staple topic, the goodness of President Trump. "He doesn't have a racist bone in his body," Gorka said, by way of addressing Henry's white supremacy comments. "He doesn't care who you voted for. He wants you to be safe, and he wants your family to prosper." But Henry had disconnected by then, and never left a family name. Read more. Bannon's fast rise, faster fall and uncertain future. Oprah might run for president. We did the opposition research for you. Trump gets rid of Stephen K. Bannon, a top proponent of his nationalist agenda.